Hello everyone, welcome to another movie review. Oh boy. Today we're not just reviewing one movie because I never review just one movie because that would be too easy. Today we're reviewing 3 movies. We're reviewing an original film and 2 of its remakes. We are reviewing Perfect Strangers, which is a remake of Perfect Strangers, and Nothing to Hide, which is a remake of Perfect Strangers. For some reason, this little Italian movie, Perfect Strangers, has gotten tons of remakes in different countries. There's something like 24 versions of this movie. And so I came across this and I said to myself, what's the difference between these movies? So we're going to find out today if there's really any difference between these movies and which version is the best version. So let's go. So I came across this movie on Netflix called The Bar, and it was actually very good. It was a really tight thriller, and it got a little silly at the end, but I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it. So then I looked up this director, Alex de la Iglesia, sorry if I mispronounced that name, to see what other movies he had done. And I came across this movie he directed called Perfect Strangers. And I was like, okay. And then I read the premise, and I was like, okay, that's that movie. And then a little while later, I was scrolling Netflix and I came across a movie called Nothing to Hide that had the exact same premise. So I was like, is this the movie? Is it just like under a different name? No, it's a French remake. And then I discovered they were both remakes of an Italian film. So today, those are the 3 that we are going to review. The original Italian version, the Spanish version by the director I like, and the French version, which is on Netflix. Let's go! So if you don't know, I don't know why you would know if you're watching this video, is the premise. The premise is a group of friends decide to play a game of sorts where they read aloud all text messages and phone calls, put all phone calls on speaker. Basically, they decide to keep no secrets for one night. Hijinks ensue. So this is already my kind of movie. I like movies where people disagree and bicker. And so let's start with the original Italian version. It is the best one. I guess fuck that hook for the rest of the video. The first thing I thought about when I heard this premise was thinking about how the fuck are you going to get these people to agree to play this game? Because this is the sort of thing that nobody would agree to. Nobody would agree to play this game. So how do you get these characters to do it? And I was really curious to see how it was different in each version. But no version really does it well. It's not out of nowhere, but it is out of nowhere. It's tough to describe. It's like they're talking about secrets and phones, and so it's kind of a logical progression, but at the same time, like, it still doesn't make sense that they agree to play this game. It just feels a little forced. And it's not a big deal because it's the whole premise for the movie. You have to get to that point in the story. But if it was a little less forced, I think I would have liked the movie more. It's shot very plain, almost like a TV show in a way. There's not really much to talk about with this movie. It's just a solid movie for the most part. I like the characters. I like what they're going through. I like the reveals. Yeah, it's just a solid movie. I don't get why this movie, out of, the bajillion movies that are made every year, I don't get why this one is the one that everyone's just like nutted over and decided to make a bajillion remakes of. But it is an enjoyable film with... Should I talk about the ending? Let's talk about the ending. Spoilers for Perfect Strangers. Spoilers for all of these movies because they're the same fucking movie. Recommendations. I suppose I should tell you, just watch the original. If you're going to watch any of these, watch the original. Okay. Spoilers now. The end reveal is that it was all a dream. Not literally, but basically that's the twist. None of it happened. Basically everyone's pissed at each other. Everyone's relationships are ruined. Then it cuts to a shot of the moon, and then everything's fine. Everyone's chill with each other, and nobody knows anybody's secrets. I'm of two minds about this ending. I think most people will just see this ending and go, fuck you, movie. I didn't, because I felt like it drove home the theme of never really knowing a person fully. It's sort of a what if story. A what if for one night everyone was honest with each other and then everything would just go to shit. And just leaving that as sort of a whimsical sort of like, not a fairy tale because it's not that kind of movie. It's not whimsical either. Like an old wives' tale or something like that. On the other hand, it is a cheap gut punch in order to get you to feel something. But on the other hand, the movie kind of earns it because I was already feeling something, and the only reason I care is because the movie made me care. And so, like, you know, why am I mad? These are characters that don't exist. The only reason I care about them is because the movie was good up until that point. And so I can't really get mad at the ending. It's not the best ending. I'm not going to praise it as genius or anything. But it's a solid ending. And when I first saw it, I was curious to see how the different versions would handle the ending. Because I was kind of confused for a second. This movie doesn't really do a good job telling you what has just happened. It just sort of cuts to a shot of the moon, and then everything's normal again. And so it sort of leaves you to deduce that this was just that what we had seen the past hour and a half didn't happen. And so I was looking for the other versions of this movie to sort of better sell that ending, to sell that ending better. But actually I think that this way of doing the ending ended up being the best way to do this ending because it leaves you to figure out what is going on. It doesn't feel like the movie is punching you in the gut. It feels like you've discovered something that gives you that feeling of being punched in the gut. So yeah, I liked this movie. I didn't love it, but I liked it, and I was curious to see if the other versions could be better than this version. So I wasn't going in like wanting to hate the other versions or thinking the original was a masterpiece. I was open to having a better version out there. So then I watched the Spanish version, and these are just the same movie.
I don't know what I expected.
I wasn't expecting like a huge difference, but really the only difference with this movie is that it is more interestingly shot. The camera is moving a lot. There's interesting camera angles that I can't really say were there in the original. The Spanish one is just so much more visually interesting, and it was on par to be my favorite version until the ending. The ending in this one is actually different. First off, they set up that there's like a blood moon, which is also a thing in the Italian version, but it's more set up here and it's more emphasized here in the Spanish version. And at the end, there's stuff going crazy. There's wind going everywhere. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then it's going to all be normal, right? And it is the exact same ending, except there is one person who now remembers everything. And she just knows everything that's happened during the night. It's just that she's basically gone back in time. And now everyone's cool with each other. So this version of the ending is a lot worse, because you remember that whole explanation I gave in defense of the ending about how it's about the things you never really know about another person? Well, that's bullshit now in this version, because she knows. She knows everything. It's not like a make you think ending. It's just the gut punch. That's all that's left. And it robs the value of the ending. I can see why they did it. They probably thought it would add more value to the ending because the events actually happened. Someone actually remembers the events. But it's only one person. And I honestly think just having everyone forget what happened is a more interesting ending. Like, either go whole hog with it or don't do it at all. Whole hog. That was a choice of words. If you're going to do this kind of ending, go all in. Don't have one character remember to try and give the audience a bone and not hate your movie. This would have been my favorite version because of the interesting filmmaking on display, but the changed ending really kind of sours my opinion on it, and I think the Italian version is better. So then I watched the French version, Nothing to Hide, which is on Netflix. It's the most widely available of them all. And it is just the fucking original movie. It is the same. I didn't even notice any real differences in the filmmaking. It is just the Italian version, but in French. There's nothing to say about it. Like, it is just... I didn't hate any of these movies, but this one came a little close, because it's just like... Just watch the original. There's no reason to watch the French version over the original because they're just the same movie. What's the point of this remake if it's exactly the same, except in a different language? Well, I know the point, and we're getting to the point of this video. The whole reason these remakes exist is because a lot of people don't want to watch foreign films. They don't like subtitles or dubs. They just don't want to watch them. That's the only reason these remakes exist, is so that French people or Spanish people who don't care to watch the original Italian version, so they can watch it. It's not artistic. It's not like, I have an idea for this remake to reimagine this movie to make it better. It's literally just, I want to watch a movie, but in my language. Which is just really sad and pointless. Like, I went into this thinking I was going to find actual, real differences and, like, get really nitty-gritty and compare all three. But I really couldn't. They're the same movie. It's not even a case of like, oh, they butchered a classic or, you know, they changed things. It's just the same movie. All these resources, all of the effort that went into making these films can be avoided by just watching a movie with subtitles. It's not good. I think more people should watch movies with subtitles or dubs if you prefer, I guess. So yeah, that was Perfect Strangers slash Nothing to Hide slash I'm sure there are other countries' versions that have different names, but that's gonna be it for today. I tapped out at 3 of these versions. There is like 24. So just save yourself the trouble and just watch the original Italian version. I know the French version is the easiest to get because it's on Netflix, but just go out of your way to try and find the original Italian version. It really is the best one, and it's actually responsible for coming up with the idea and all the plot elements. So it kind of deserves the credit for that. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed watching this fucking review. I am tired. I'm playing with my light because I don't know what else to do for this outro. Like and subscribe. Bye.